Big Sills National Football Show. We appreciate you guys very much here on a Football Monday here. Real quick before I get to Sean Desai, DC for the Eagles. If I'm Caleb Williams, the starting quarterback for the USC Trojans, I have absolutely nothing left to play for. They had an unfortunate loss to Utah. I thought they would lose to Utah. In my opinion, what's the point of staying in college and having a chance of getting injured? You're most likely going to be the number one overall selection. What's the point? I would leave school. I'm not going to the shit.com bowl. My chances of going to the Rose Bowl, what's the point of that? A Rose Bowl versus me potentially getting $50 million guaranteed dollars. Are you crazy? Why in the world would I do that when I'm going to get a $50 million guaranteed contract? Why would I stay at Southern Cal? Hey, Eagle fans, you got away with another miracle. Miracle 2. You guys were thinking of hiring Lincoln Riley as your head football coach? That would have been a bigger disaster than Chip Kelly. At least Chip Kelly left behind Jeff Stoutland. And Lane Johnson was drafted. At least there was something left behind that you guys have used to today. You would have hired Lincoln Riley. He's the most overrated coach in the United States of America. Isn't that the guy John Ritchie at WIP wanted to be the head football coach for the Eagles other than Sirianni? I'll take Sirianni over that guy. That guy's never, ever spelled the word defense. Never, ever spelled the word defense. Eagles trade a 2024 5th and 6th round and Terrell Edmonds to the Titans for all-pro safety, Kevin Byard. As we said this last hour, there is no doubt Howie, again, 5th and a 6th. The leverage was the Eagles. They had the leverage. They took the $4 million on, and it's the first year of a 2-year contract. He's 30 years old. And like I said, you got to remember something here. This is how Howie's looking at this. They feel they want to win right now. This is not a future move. Okay? This is not a future move. It's just not. Yeah, he's from Philly and he's coming home just like Hassan Reddick. Absolutely. Absolutely. This is a really good move. And once again, Howie not giving up massive assets to get a player in here that can help you right now. You're pretty old in the secondary now. 231, north of 30-year-old corners, and you got a safety that's 30. So you're looking at some pretty good guys up in age in that back end. You're exceptionally young. By the way, the more and the better that the front seven continues to play, the more that back end's going to continue to come around. Okay? It's a pretty old back end, okay? But still, at the end of the day, we'll see how this plugs in. I wouldn't be surprised if the kid plays this Sunday against the Commanders. So I'll do that. All right. I have a question to ask you. If Sean Desai was your D coordinator against Kansas City in the Super Bowl, think he would have won it? You think he would have won it? I do. I do. The way that his in-game adjustments are evident. He adjusts in-game. Man, he has been schooled by two. Thanks, Rage. We've been talking about it. You know who he adjusts like in game? Like Belichick and Fangio and Carroll. All influences on him. You see it. He's really quick. He's a good coach. That's a good hire by Howie. That's a really good hire, man. And it's a testament to all the new faces that he has. Get this. He's a brand new coordinator coming into a brand new environment, playing a system that he's familiar with. But that doesn't necessarily mean just because you know how to drive a car, you know how to drive a stick shift. You know what I'm saying? Every car's different, and you come into it, man. That doesn't mean you know how to fly the plane. Just because you know how to fly, you got to get used to it. You got to get used to the quirks of the defense. You got to get used to your personnel. And he's done it so fast. If Sean Desai was your coordinator, and I completely believe it. So now, you know what? Let me say this to you too. How much of an influence do you think Matt Patricia has been on this? That kind of flies under the radar. You think Patricia, hey, isn't it, do you think there's a coincidence that the in-game adjustments remind you of the Patriots? And how they have in-game, you see what they did to the Bills Sunday? That's got Patricia's name on it too. It's got Patricia's name on it. You know? Like his influence, you can see it. Okay? You can see it. Senor goes, what happened to your boy Josh Allen? Josh Allen doesn't have as many turnovers as your guy. And they got to check themselves on defense, too, up there in Buffalo. I can't figure Buffalo out. Jalen Hurts has more turnovers than Allen's. I know what you're talking about. You're talking about quarterback play or team play? There's two different things here. Yeah. And you lost to the Jets. Dude, stop doing that. And you should have lost to the Commanders. You didn't beat the Commanders. They had a stupid coaching move. And there's that fabulous 23-2. That 23-2 with nothing behind it. Record means nothing unless there's a championship with it. That's like telling me you think Nick Sirianni's a better coach, like we said the other day, than Doug Peterson. Or that, how about this? This guy, Matt LaFleur, has won almost 70% of his games, and he's now on the hot seat in Green Bay. I thought he was a good coach, too. Coaches can be blown out no matter who they are, especially the head coaches. Hey, dude, Doza, you eat crow when you win a Super Bowl, not when you're 6-1. Or what's that other thing? 23-2. There's no crow eating on that. Crow eating on what is when you win a championship? What crow eating? Look at Prince. He's got to pay to insult me. I love it. And I love doing it. Leave bipolar Sills alone. Imagine that. You wake up in the morning, you tell your wife you have to spend money to insult Sills. Winning! Winning! Barb, great question. How many years for Sirianni, Danny? Barb, I think he'll be smarter than Doug and not piss in Howie's sandbox. I think he'll be smarter. Okay? I think he'll be smarter. Okay? Petty Cash. Well, you guys are loaded, man. You guys in Philly are loaded. Not me, man. Not me. I got to, sometimes, hey, with my Hummer, man, the way it is, shit, I have to save all my pennies and nickels and dimes just to fill that bitch up. We beat the Commanders. Great. Great. Congratulations. So, Sil's definitely winning. That was clutch. Hey, Jason, I always win. Even when we lose, we win. Always remember, I never lose. Seals, can we set up Barb? Who do you want to set her up with, Twiz? Let me guess. Taylor Swift's brother. Big Seals and Tone, love you guys. You are right about the championship versus records. Just know we got faith. There's one coming real soon. 88, you know what? What Tone says I love. The record indicates the journey, and it's been a fun one for you. The only reason I'm not married is so I can pay money to insult Sills. That's actually funny. Okay. I believe the idiots you argue with are 14. Hey, Lucius, so do I, but hey. My wife says there's a couple guys that, like Barb, you know what? I got to tell you, man, my wife says that most people that contact me on social media are not the chicks that post the pictures. It's some fat dude in a guinea tee with hair all over his back, and his name is Bucko. And they're not the women that they say they are. So, Barb, I'm questioning, nothing against you, Barb, but I'm really not sure. So, you could be some fat guinea too in a guinea t-shirt with hair all over you too, and one eyebrow and unibrow, I don't know, dog. You know what I'm saying? My wife says those people ain't real. Sills, what's a better sign? Losing to the Jets and beating the Dolphins. Oh, beating the Dolphins. Or beating the Jets and lose. Oh, I'd rather beat the Dolphins. Lose to the Jets? Dude, the Jets loss was just pathetic by the Eagles. The Dolphins win was dominating, and you beat a good team up. The Jets aren't a good team. The Dolphins are a good team. There's no such thing as beating a shitty team coming out of that going, hey, I feel pretty good about myself. Okay? Beating the Dolphins, I feel pretty good coming out of that. And not beating them, but beating them up. Okay? Beating them up. All right? How do you compare the 49ers to us now? That's a great question. Great question. 49ers. Hey, will you guys do me a favor? Tell me the teams that the Niners have beat. 49ers versus the Eagles. That would have been a good topic for tomorrow, but let's do it now. 49ers, well, their quarterback is outplaying yours. He's 10 times having a more efficient year than yours. Cowboys are no, I'm not doing that. Steelers, Rams, Giants, Cardinals, Cowboys. I would say the 49ers' biggest win is the Cowboys. Okay, a team you struggled against. Niners beat Steelers. Steelers are 4-2 now. But really? Rams, not bad. They lose over the weekend. They lost to the Steelers, actually. The Giants, they win over the weekend. Cardinals and Cowboys, clearly the best win for the 49ers have been the Cowboys, and they destroyed them. And they destroyed them kind of almost in the same light in how you destroyed the Dolphins. Would you compare the Dolphins and Cowboys to one another? Chubb, Micah. Think Tua is better than Dak? I do. Tua's playing better than Dak. How about we do that? Do they have a better wide receiving core than the Dolphins, the Cowboys? I don't believe so. Do they have a better run game? I don't think so. Maybe a better defense? Maybe. Do they have a better coach? I don't think so. So that's a pretty much a push to me. Cowboys and Dolphins remind me of the same team. Okay? So, I mean, Cowboys and Dolphins are probably the two best teams that these two teams have beaten. Eagles beating the Dolphins, and the 49ers have beaten the Cowboys. Now, the Cowboys have always had the Eagles' number, especially Prescott. Prescott performs for whatever it is. He has your number. You know how Tone was saying it? You know, there's always one team. Well, there's always one player who performs insane against another team. And Dak performs against you and the Giants like no. I mean, he's made a career out of the Giants, Washington, and Philly. He's made a career out of you guys. Okay? So, but to me, here, who's playing better quarterback? 49ers. Who's got a better run game? 49ers. Who's got a better O-line? Eagles. Who's got a better wide receiving core? Wow. What tight end? How about we go pass catching? Kittle, McCaffrey, Ayuk, and Debo versus AJ. Is AJ better than anything that is on the 49ers? Yes. AJ's playing the best wide receiver of any wide receiver in the league. Is Devontae better than Ayuk this year? I don't think so. Ayuk's having a better season. Kittle and Goddard. Goddard just started picking his game up. Okay, he's just started picking his game up. I compare those two together. I think that's a push. Now, I got to give it to the Eagles because AJ's killing it. He's would you agree? I mean, I don't think anybody's playing better wide receiver than him. I just don't think anybody's playing better than him. So I'm going to go with the Eagles on pass catching. Defense? Is there anybody in the NFL playing better than the Philadelphia Eagles defensive front four? No way. No way. I'm going Eagles on front four. Linebackers, clearly Niners. Secondary, Niners. But here's the deal. By the time Wednesday, and by the way, so you guys know, I know you're probably feeling insulted. What's the date of that 49er game? What's the date of the 49er game? Because just because you're not there today doesn't mean you may not be there. Okay. Jesus, December 3rd, December 3rd. Could they be up there with San Francisco in the secondary? You're never going to be as good as their linebackers. You're never, ever going to be in their room. December 3rd, could this defense be better than San Francisco's? I like Steve Wilkes, the 49ers coordinator, too. He's a very established guy, and he's done a nice job there. But he's not DeMeco Ryans. Hey, CD got Bert, you got Byard now. He's not Hufanga. Understand? He's not Hufanga. If you're Howie, what's your next trade and why? Great question, Papa. I would like to really entertain this and just go with me here. I would like to see what Denver would want for Patrick Surtain. You got Patrick Surtain, you win the Super Bowl. You get Patrick Surtain, you win the Super Bowl. Twiz goes like this, too much. Too much to win a Super Bowl? You wouldn't give a first-round draft choice up for Patrick Surtain to win a Super Bowl. What are you, nuts? You take a gamble on one of the defensive backs that you've never been able to land on in your entire Howie Roseman of talent evaluating career? What corners he ever landed on? Why in the world would you give it to him to try to find you a corner when in 25 years he's never? What, I mean, don't you see the law of averages here? So you want to take a shot with the 32nd pick in the NFL draft with a cornerback that he's never been good at finding. Okay? You really want to do that? Say you get to the say you end up winning the Super Bowl. It'll be the 32nd pick for Patrick Surtain, a 2 and a 3. You wouldn't do that. How dumb. Dude, this move here that you got with the kid from the Titans is a great move. And if you compile it with another great player, you're talking about solidifying what could be something that could be set up here for a little bit. Now, again, now, Joshua, I would entertain it. I would entertain it. But everyone, I mean, I love how people look at the first-round draft choices on defense. And it's funny, you know what somebody said? Who was it, the one that said that when I brought up the fact that your defensive players, especially from your linebackers all the way to your secondary, and Tone, this is kind of where I'm going with the conversation as usual, okay, is that from the linebackers to the secondary, they're all mercenaries and you didn't really draft any of them. There's no player development. There's one guy there, okay? And the reason that I say that to you is that's their MO. They're not looking to develop anybody. So if you're not developing anybody, that means you're not drafting anybody. Think about that. They don't draft people in the secondary and linebackers. And you wouldn't give up a 32nd pick for a perennial Pro Bowler. And you think a 32nd pick is more valuable. How could it be valuable to you at the cornerback position when Howie has failed miserably at that spot in the draft? Name me one cornerback he's drafted in 25 years. I'll wait. Name me a cornerback he's drafted in 25 years. Hopefully it won't be 10 years ago or 15 years ago. You know, hopefully it'll be like a couple of years ago he drafted one. That's right, Don. The 32nd pick is like the first pick in the second. Who's Sidney Jones? Who's Sidney Jones? Lito Shepherd? I said try to keep it in this decade. Let's try to stay in this decade. So you entertain that. Then you take Bradbury and you put him in the slot. You put Surtain over on the other corner, move Slay, then you move those guys back next year. Because this is what the side's doing. By the way, when I bring that point up, it's not to belabor the point. It's to what Tone says. That's not how they do business. Drafting corners. They go look for them. I like that, actually. I actually like that. That's right, Tone. I trust Howie to trade or sign a corner before I would trust him. But that's where I'm going. That's how he says all the time. That's how their business is. I would rather, me too. You mean to tell me I could get a first or second year guy at 25 years old that's played in the NFL versus a guy who played at Slippery Rock University and it's the 32nd player taken in the draft? I got to take a shot that guy's going to make it in the league. Why don't I make a move for a guy that's already made it in the league? I'd rather do that. There's less chance of failure. You're limiting the law averages of failure. Drafting corners are as tough as drafting quarterbacks. Don't you see that? Drafting a corner is the second most difficult position to draft in the NFL. It's the second most difficult. I would say now, today, wide receivers are third. You bet, man. This guy here, I have slowly figured out Howie here. He's going to invest in his lines, offense, defense. They're going to do player development in those lines. Shit, the only guy in the, let me see. How many guys in the offensive huddle are non-Eagles? Receiver from Atlanta, AJ Swift. The other side, your entire foot, even your edge rusher. Your edge rusher, free agent, linebackers, free agents, entire secondary outside of Reed. Free agents. This is how he does business. How he's going to get guys on defense that can play in this. Look, this is not a rip. No one's ripping him because you know why? You can't, because it's working. No one's ripping. No one's throwing shade here. Yeah, Tone's point. Even Reed was a UDFA. See? And like you said here, when you make a move like this, this is an MO move. Now, you know what? Help me out on this one. Because someone just asked me, what do I think the next move is? Has Howie Roseman ever traded in season for a first round? Did he ever give a first round player away in the upcoming draft of any particular year to acquire a player on defense? Has he ever done that? Because it'll tell me a little bit more about what he may do. Because you see, this Kevin Byard deal is more of a deal to me that he went like this. You know what, man? I'm not going to get the kid from Arizona. He's going to want a Jamal Adams deal at $20 million. I'm going to have to give a one-up for him, and I'm not doing that for a safety. I'm not doing that for a safety. So he made the second best financially. I mean, you give up a 5 and a 6 and Terrell Edmonds, and you bring him in, and he's only making $4 million. Hey, man, I'm good with that. That's a style move. That's a move where you go like this. Well, he's not the kid from Arizona, Buda Baker. But you know what he is? He's in his room. All right. I don't have to give up a lot, pay a lot. And I could get kind of the same guy. I'm in. Nothing wrong with that. That's how you balance. See that kind of move right here? You see that kind of move right there that Howie Roseman made today? That's the moves that Dallas Cowboys are incapable of making. The Dallas Cowboys are not capable of making those kind of moves. Why? Because Jerry Jones has too much emotion wrapped around looking for the big name. Jones wants the big name. Okay? I want the big name. I want the big name. How he looks at the kind of guy that fits his system and his MO and how he operates. The more and more you watch the way he does business, the more and more you get how he does business. Like I said, we want Buda Baker. Yeah, who doesn't? Hey, how many people look at that? You think that Jamal Adams deal was a good deal for Seattle? You think that was a good deal for Seattle to pay a guy $20 million and give up all them first rounders? Hey, Tone, what'd they give up? 2 1s? Okay. Didn't they give up 2 1s to the Jets for him? And they turned around and paid him 20. And has he played up there? I don't know. Has he ever been healthy? That's not a good deal. Shit, as a matter of fact, that's kind of why they had to move off of Russell Wilson. They gave her future away for the next 2 years, paid a safety $20 million. Howie does the same move for another type of Jamal Adams for a 4 and 5 and Terrell Edmonds and $4 million. Dude, such a good philosophical move. That is a very good philosophical move. That's smart, makes sense, fits the whole freaking thing. He's a player. He's got gas in the tank. And something that Tone said that I love so much, he's never missed a ball game. Shit, dude, sign me up. I'll take 53 of those moves. It's a freaking absolutely connecting the dot and checking all the boxes move. Everything. You see, in the NFL, guys, it's not just about going, I want that shiny new car. You got to make it work. The Seahawks gave up a first round in 21-22, a 2021 third rounder for Jamal Adams plus a player. Not me. And $20 million. Every single fundamental thing that move made with Jamal Adams for the Seahawks turned out to be a failure. You gave up 3 high picks, a player, and you paid 20. Howie went and got a player who could play today and plug in for a what? Put that trade up there again, Tone. Please. For a 5 and 6 in Edmonds and $4 million. Dude, again, that's why the Eagles have dominated the NFC East. Moves exactly like this right here. They're not the shiny super. You're not getting a Bugatti. But you know what you're getting? You're getting a great-looking BMW that does the same shit that every other car on the planet. It's more of a gamble on the Bugatti breaking down. And some of the pieces you can't even replace. Like Jamal Adams has been a non-factor in Seattle. Since he got there, he's been an absolute non-factor. I think maybe the first year, right, he had 20 sacks. And then after that, he's been banged up. I think he had a really good first year up there. Right? I think he had an insane first year up there. He was really great. That is the kind of move right there that you like. This resembles a lot of the C.J. Gardner-Johnson deal of a year ago. This looks like the Gardner-Johnson deal. You get a guy who's not making any money. He's stuck down on the roster, and they really don't like it because he talks too much shit. That's not a reason for me not to have him on my roster. And plus, get this. Howie's a Gator. He went and got a Gator. Howie's a shit talker too. He don't care. Shit-talking Gator making a deal for another shit-talking Gator. Okay. As you could tell me, and, Gators talk far more shit than Hurricanes, I think. I don't know. Maybe not. I'm not sure people would agree with that, but hey. It's a great move. Get this, again. It's a great move because it checks all the boxes. You see? It checks all the boxes. And the Titans are now hey, this, in my opinion, is a sign now that the Titans are going to move off of Derrick Henry. They're going to try to get one of them quarterbacks in the draft coming up. And they got to get as many picks as they can. And so what they're going to try to do, they're going to try to stockpile picks all the way until the end of the season. And they're going to get rid of everybody. Hell, it wouldn't shock me if DeAndre Hopkins is on the move. And they move him. And they move him for a draft pick. You turn a free agent sign into a draft pick, I think he's next. I think Henry and Hopkins will be traded. I don't know what you get for DeAndre, maybe a third, fourth, depending where he goes or who's desperate. I don't think the Raiders are going to move off of Davante Adams. Makes no sense to move off of Davante Adams. Okay? Makes no sense for the Raiders to do that. They need a quarterback in there. And that's going to be a steep price to try to get Adams. And no team's going to give you the same value that you had to deal with Green Bay. It's just not going to happen. You'd have to give up a king's ransom. Adams had 9.5 sacks his first year in Seattle, but hear this, Sills. Through 67 possible games, Adams has only played 28. These things have been a failure. 2020, 12. 2021, 12. 2022, 1. 2023, 3. And Tone, what's his salary? This is why this deal here for Kevin Byard is really great. You gave up a 5 and a 6 and $4 million for a player like Jamal Adams and like Budda Baker. You know, it's kind of like buying the off-brand of something that you like. There's nothing wrong with that. And it builds your roster, and you get what? And you get more impact. Guy, and get this guy Adams, he's freaking missed a ton of games. The guy you just traded for has never missed a game. Who do you think is more valuable to a team? The guy who's available or the guy who's never available? Does anybody know what that guy's making, Jamal Adams? I think it's $20 million. That's a colossal disaster. Colossal. When you make deals in the NFL to build your rosters up, okay, you have to remember the money is involved in this. Amount of years and signing bonus. When Seattle traded for Adams, they gave him 4 years, $70.58 million. 38 fully guaranteed. This year, his salary cap hit is $32.3 million. You want to hear something insane? Jalen Hurts doesn't have a salary cap hit like that until like what is it, Tone? Like the fourth year of his contract? This guy's got more of a salary cap hit than what Hurts will have in his first 2 years. That's a colossal failure. No one signs up for that. Whew. Wow. Holy cow. Man. That's how you get your doorknobs beat. Adam's salary cap hit is $12 million this year. His dead cap is 32 if they cut him. And a guy who doesn't play for you. That was a deal that, in my opinion, John Schneider, the general manager of the Seahawks, and Pete would like to have back. Because that guy's not panned out. Dude, a move like this, let's just say the guy sucks. Say he sucks. There's no indication he will. Say he sucks. 5 and a 6, and Terrell Edmonds, a guy who you got off the scrap heap, and you just threw a player in to replace him in your own huddle. I mean, and get this. Howie, they played his ass off last night. The guy had 8 tackles. Didn't he have like 8 tackles and 8 solos and 8 assisted? Didn't he have 16 tackles last night? Wasn't it something like that, or was it just 8 tackles? I think he led the Eagles in tackles last night. They played his ass. Howie made that deal today, or either they were talking about the deal last night, and his play last night was the Titans probably said, we'll take him. Didn't he lead the Eagles in tackles on Sunday? He didn't have 0 tackles last night, dude. He had, hey, I love it when people go like this. He had 8 tackles and got burned. Who burned him? Tyreek Hill? They gave up 1 touchdown, kind of, right? Hurts' cap hit 13.5 in 2024. So think about this. This year, a cap hit this year for Adams is $11 million. Jalen Hurts, who signed a $50 million a year deal in 2024, will have a 13.5 cap hit. 2025, 15.9. Do you understand what that means? A safety in Seattle almost has the same exact cap hit as a starting quarterbacks. Edmonds led the team last night in total tackles with 9, 8 solo. Made no tackles. No. Keon, you make no sense. He was late on every play. The only thing that matters is they didn't score. And that's your coordinator. Next closest player had 4 tackles. Yeah. Hey, that's how I look at it too, Rashid. I never said he played super. I think he really had a good, solid game last night. Okay? All right. Take a time out. I'm going to look at Week 7 of the National Football League. We're also going to catch up with Gary Cobb at 5:30 Eastern. Please hit the like button. Power Hour coming up. Oh, and by the way, do not forget our great friends at Hooters. We really appreciate everybody who has gone into the facilities over the last couple weeks, and we so thank you very much. Look, one of the great locations from Rhode Island all the way down to King of Prussia, one of the 7 locations in the Northeast area. Go to northeasthooters.com to celebrate the 40th anniversary of Hooters. The iconic Hooter girls are there for you Monday Night Football tonight. HootersToGo.com. If you don't want to go into any one of the places, do me that favor. Use the app. Great food. Tuesdays, buy 10 wings, get 10 boneless free. Wing Wednesdays, 1983, the year the place was founded. 40-year tradition. Please go in there. By the way, kids eat for free on Saturdays. 6 items, $6. Fried pickles are absolutely insane. NortheastHooters.com. That's NortheastHooters.com. And when you roll into any one of the facilities, do me a favor, tell them Big Sil sent you.
Football and Hooters, the perfect